And I want to know now, ever fancied yourself as a bit of a race car driver? What about motorbiking? And what about places like Brands Hatch or Silverstone? Have you ever been to there? What's it like when you went there? My next guest is representing Asians when it comes to the motorsport world, but also British interests as well. 16-year-old Aditya Singh Behal is due to take part in this year's British Talent Cup, a competition open to 13 to 17-year-olds. He's thought to be the first Sikh rider in the tournament. He's here in the studio with me right now with his dad, very proud dad actually, Aditya Singh Behal. How are we both? We good?
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Aditya, I'm going to chat to you a little bit first, if you don't mind. Tell me a little bit about yourself then. So, 16, and you're not a usual 16-year-old teenager, are you?
No, I started racing, got into it because I guess I was influenced by my dad's side of the family. They were all bikers, and I guess I just wanted to have a go.
So when did you actually start then?
I got my first bike when I was 7, I think. Yeah, 7.
7? What size is that bike?
What was that? Oh, that was a 50cc mini moto.
Are 7-year-olds even allowed on bikes?
They are. These are really small bikes. They're designed purposely for racing, so they're really tiny. Although adults do ride them as well. They look ridiculous, but they do it.
Okay, so 7 years old, you get your first bike. I mean, at 7, I think that's when I got my first BMX. I know other bikes are available. I think that's what I got. And you get something with a 50cc engine on. I mean, how was that?
Well, the first time I rode it, we got to the track and I was too scared to go on the track, so I was riding up and down a path. And then when I finally did get on track, I crashed at the first corner.
Oh, no.
But yeah, picked it up and haven't been able to put it down since.
Oh, that's good, actually. So what is it about riding that you enjoy? What's that feeling like?
It's just the adrenaline, I guess. Just when you're wheel to wheel with someone at 130 mile an hour, I haven't been able to replicate that feeling with anything else.
How do you let him go 130 mile an hour wheel to wheel with someone else? You surely, as a parent, you must be like, oh my god.
To be fair, now the bikes he's raced for the last few years, I can't bear to watch. Last year, Addy rode a 600cc Yamaha at British Superbikes, and he did a one-off round. Them bikes are capable of nearly 150 mile an hour, and it was, I don't watch anymore. I used to when he was, doing it. I stand on pit wall, I look at a timing screen, and then I put a board out for him, and I see him for a split second, and then I go back to watching the times, and that's it.
I mean, you were talking there about 600 cc's, 150 miles an hour. My eyes were drifting towards Aditya, and he was just sort of like in a reverie of like, oh yeah, going fast, that's great. You speed junkies, what is that about? I know you said you can't explain it, can't replicate it, but just tell us, normal people who, going 80 miles an hour in the car is, that's too fast. What's it like being out there on a track, on a motorbike, going that fast, going round chicanes?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's just the feeling like when you're coming up to the corners at 150 mile an hour, trying to outbrake everyone, trying to get that edge, trying to be the fastest one, the last one to brake, the earliest one to get on the throttle. It's just, something special.
Are you not scared that you're going to crash?
Well, I think I've crashed enough times that I'm not scared of it anymore. It's something that you got to just take out of your brain when you're out there and just concentrate on going faster.
Yeah, I just don't get it. But you know what? Fair play to you. As in, that mindset I will never understand. But it's clearly something that's in there with you, and that desire to race. And so fair play to you there for that. Let's talk a little bit then about the motorsports itself. Is it unusual to have Asians in motorsports?
Well, as far as I can ascertain in the UK, Addy's one of 2 Asian riders. Both Sikhs. One another rider called Suki Rai. He's a good friend of ours. He's a bit older than Addy, and he races at club level. We've not come across or heard of. I think it was a Qasim Hazmi race a few years ago. But Addy's certainly the first Sikh rider. was the first Sikh race with Bemsey, which is the oldest motorcycle racing club in the world, at 104 years old.
So what's the atmosphere like? I mean, it's not. I don't want this to be one of those things where it's like I'm the only Asian or I'm the only one of two and everyone else isolates me. Because if that's not what it's like, that's great. Just tell us a little bit about what the atmosphere is like there.
The atmosphere is amazing. In the paddock, it's, we've never felt like outsiders. No one's ever marginalised us. It's been really great in the paddock. We get on with everyone. Everyone gets on with us. You've never had any racism, have you?
No, not really.
But we have had, sponsorship opportunities and things that have passed us by.
Oh, really?
And that can be sometimes a little bit upsetting, but we don't let it get us down. We don't focus or dwell on it at all. We just look forward to getting on to the next opportunity.
Tell me a little bit. Sorry, you don't need to mention any names or anything like that. Clearly, if you want sponsors, we wouldn't do that. But how do you know that they've passed you by, or what makes you have that impression?
Well, on a couple of occasions, I've been told flat out by a sponsor that they've not backed Addy because it doesn't fit their profile for their company. Other times, it's just been we've seen it's been more in the background of riders that have got the sponsorship haven't performed as well as us. We've outperformed them, and yet we've still not managed to we've still been overlooked. So that can be a little bit upsetting, but again, we don't try to dwell on any of that and move on from it.
Okay, cool. Randir, I'm going to come back to you in a moment or so, but let's talk to you a little bit, Aditya, about your role models in the sport then, how often you train. So tell us, you started riding at 7, and when did you know that you were actually good at it?
Well, I started riding at 7, that was at a track in Croydon, and that wasn't racing, it was just going around a track. And then we met a guy there that told us about a circuit called Hammering, I think it was called. Mm-hmm. And from there, I did my first race. As you know, my first race was at Landau in South Wales, and I got second place in my first race. So
how old are you?
I would have been 8 when I did my first race. Then
congrats.
And I think at that point, with that feeling of coming, although it was second, it was still massive for me. Bikes got bigger, speeds got faster, and it just kept getting better and better.
And you've raced at Silverstone as well, which is the iconic track of here in the UK, probably one of the most iconic in the world as well. What was that like? What's Silverstone like?
Silverstone,
was that ever a dream of yours first of all?
Yeah. When I was watching the MotoGP, even before I started racing, it was a circuit that I always wanted to go to, and riding it for the first time, and it was just the dream coming true, from seeing people on TV riding around there to actually doing it myself, and it actually made me have a lot more respect for the people that do it at MotoGP level, the speeds that they can carry. The risks they take.
Must have been a really proud moment for you to see him at Silverstone as well.
It really was. We used to go to a karting circuit where we raced in Wilton Mill, which is in Northampton, and to get there from my house, we'd have to drive past Silverstone every time, and we literally drove past the exit for Silverstone. And we always used to say, we used to laugh, it'd be great to get there one day and have a go on the circuit, or, it's late at night, I'm sure there's no one on the gate, we've got the bikes in the back, let's go and pinch a quick lap. But yeah, it was an immensely proud moment for me. And, this year's going to be even, another level. We're going to be one of the support races at the British Motor Grand Prix. So, he'll be in the same paddock.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so part of the Talent Cup is that, we get to take part, we'll be one of the support races at the Grand Prix this year, which, is just an amazing opportunity, an amazing, just a dream come true for me and for Eddie. I live vicariously through him. So
you're going to be there, in and around Hamilton, Vettel, is that right?
Well, this is that's Formula One.
Oh, not Formula One. Sorry, no.
The
Moto Grand Prix. Oh, okay, cool.
Marquez.
You're going to have, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Marquez is going to be there.
I'll be in the same paddock as them, lining up on the same grid, at separate times, but same track, same weekend.
And your hero is one of them's Valentino Rossi, right? So obviously he doesn't ride anymore. But would he be there in the luxury stand or whatever, something like that?
No, I think he's still riding this year. Yeah. Well, he hasn't announced what he's doing after the end of this year, but I can't see him stopping just yet.
Okay, cool. And will you have a chance to meet him?
Hopefully, I'm hoping so.
What would you say to him, or what would you get from him?
I don't know. I think a picture, talk to him about racing. Both races is what we love doing. So I think, not sure.
What's when you're racing on Silverstone, what's the best bit of that track? Is it the straight? What is it?
It's got to be Maggots and Beckett's for me. Fast flowing, left hand to right hand. And when you get it right, it's just a really good feeling. But because it's so hard to get right, it just makes it that bit more special.
Yeah, amazing. But those feelings, they have to come at a cost, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Tell us about some of the sacrifice that you guys have had to make along the way for Aditya to realise his dreams.
Sacrifices have been, a lot. I've got 3 children, so I feel it that sometimes my other 2 kids don't get the attention that they that's a big sacrifice, but they've always sort of accepted that and sort of encouraged what he's doing. We missed out on holidays, so many. We don't get to go. We've missed out on parties, wedding celebrations, anniversaries, because we're always travelling. And it's sometimes just that, the little things like being able to go out for go out for a meal sometimes. If it's, near to a race weekend or, and the money's tight, you just don't do it. And so, you have to sometimes, for me, I know I've had to make excuses as to why I couldn't come out to my friends and things because I just can't physically afford to spend the extra 50 quid because that's £50 that's going to go towards more tyres or fuel or something that, that we need to do. So, and for Addy, there's been a lot of sacrifices, haven't there? Like your friendship circles and things.
Yeah, because I guess I spend so much time at racing. At school, I wasn't the most popular kid because I wasn't there half the time. And yeah, but at racing, as well, I've got most of my friends, got a good circle there. It's like a big family, we call it. You'll help out each other. But yeah.
That's cool. Rambir, you mentioned there some of the sacrifice that you made and how costs add up.
Yeah.
How much is it actually?
It can vary. I mean, for this season alone, we need to get we're working on a budget of around £30,000. That's what it's going to cost to get a bike, pay for entries, tyres, fuel, and that's the bare minimum. We're not going to. With that kind of budget, we're hoping for no serious problems with a bike or anything like that. Otherwise, that's really going to hurt us. We're about halfway there. We've managed to secure a bike and some of the bits that will go with it. But, we're around £12,000 to £15,000 short of where we need to be to make it to the grid, and Addy's at a disadvantage already. We can't test, we can't practice, we don't have the money to do it. So we've got to turn up and race. But that said, that's what he's done his whole career. We've never been able to practice. We've always just turned up and raced. And as you can see by that trophy, we raced that to almost the British title in 2015 on the 50cc title.
Yeah, tell me about that trophy.
That was 2015 on a Mini GP 50, and I rode a Mini GP 70 that same year. It was probably one of the hardest championships I've ever fought for. That was against Josh Watley, who I raced against last year as well. I think I missed out on, I think it was less than 20 points between it. Some of the races came down to a thousandth of a second.
Wow.
It was close racing.
Very, very proud of that, aren't you?
Yeah, it's one of my favourite trophies.
Good. So yeah, you're 12, 15 grand short, but I understand like the Sikh community, your local community, has been quite helpful and supportive as well, haven't they?
They have, in that they've given us a little bit of a voice. We've not had much financial support from them, and you know that's really what we need. You know, to get moved forward and to get this season underway. You know, we need some help. We need companies that are looking for exposure. You know, and sponsorship opportunities. We've got fantastic billboard for them, but. You know, we've had help in the past. You know, last year, Addy was really lucky. He had some of his friends help him out, and it was a really tough year for Addy. So Addy lost his grandma to mental health, and so we had to have a bit of a cut down season. He was taking his GCSEs as well, so we'd already planned to do a shortened season anyway, but when my mum passed away, we couldn't really sort of fulfil that. And he was really lucky. Some of his personal racing friends stepped in and helped him pay for tyres and entry fees. And, one of the clubs that we race with, Bemsey, helped us out with the entry costs as well. So it helped us to get out on the grid and, do what his grandma really loved, because she was his biggest supporter his whole career.
Well, best of luck for this season at the British Talent Cup as well. Aditya Singh Behal and his son, first Sikh rider in the tournament, 16-year-old Aditya Singh Behal.